Heshui Campaign consisted of several fierce battles fought between the Communists and the nationalist clique's force, which consisted mostly of cavalry. The campaign was fought in the post-World War II era in the eastern Gansu province in northwestern China during the Chinese Civil War, and it was one of the few conflicts from which the nationalists emerged as the victor. Prelude. After Panlong Campaign, the communist force under the command of Peng Dehuai in northwest China had scored 3 consecutive victories against its nationalist adversary, and had forced the nationalists in northwestern China to cease further offensives. Both sides took rest and the communists held a celebration at Anzhi region during this break. Zhou Enlai personally went to join the celebration on Mao Zedong's behalf and suggested that Peng's force should take the opportunity to take a much-needed break while the nationalists were resting. But Peng Dehuai disagreed because Anzhi region was a very poor region, lacked any resources and thus could not support his large army numbered over 20,000. Instead, Peng Dehuai suggested that his force should strike toward eastern Gansu while the local nationalist force under the command Hu Zongyun was resting, so that the communists could replenish themselves in the newly conquered area in eastern Gansu. When Peng's suggestion was finally telegraphed to Mao Zedong on May 14, 1947, Mao replied in the same day and agreed. Peng Dehuai also hoped that taking eastern Gansu would force the clique to redeploy its forces and thus provide an opportunity for another communist victory, as he and Shi Zhongzhen had told Mao in their telegraph on May 28. Little did the communists know how wrong they were. On May 21, 1947, the communists started their push toward eastern Gansu in 3 fronts from Anzhi region under the personal command of Peng Dehuai. The communist first column was at the right, and the newly organized 4th Brigade was at the central, while the second column under the command of Wang Zhen was at the left. The town of Héshuǐ in the nationalist hands was selected as the primary target due to the following reasons. The region was originally an area of active communist guerrilla activities before World War II and at the end of Long March. It was the place where Mao Zedong's force met with local Chinese Red Army commanded by Xie Zichang and Liu Zhidan. During World War II, the region was granted by the nationalist government of Chiang Kai-shek to the communists as their area of control, so that the communists were legally allowed to station its 358th Brigade of the 8th Route Army under the command of Wang Hongchun in the region, and turn it into a communist base. The Communist 358th Brigade headquartered at Kenyang while the Communist 770th Regiment under the command of Zhang Kaikian was stationed at Heshui. It was only after World War II were the nationalists finally able to retake the region from the communists, and the communists had hoped that they would be able to take the region again from the nationalists. First stage. After the 48th Brigade of the nationalist reorganized 17th Division was annihilated by the enemy in the Battle of Exawachi, the nationalists lacked sufficient troops to fill the new gaps in their defense. As a result, the remaining nationalist garrison was gravely overstretched and the nationalist northern flank was dangerously exposed. In order to boost local defense, the nationalist reorganized 82nd Division was deployed to Pingliang in eastern Gansu in early 1947. To strengthen the defense of the triangular region bordered by regions of Western Peak, Ning County, and Zhenyuan, the reorganized 8th Cavalry Brigade of the nationalist reorganized 82nd Division was deployed to Kenyang. The 1st Regiment of the reorganized 8th Cavalry Brigade of the nationalist reorganized 82nd Division was deployed to Red City, southeast of Kenyang. The Heavy Weaponry Battalion of the reorganized 8th Cavalry Brigade of the nationalist reorganized 82nd Division was tasked to defend Heshui with the help of the Gansu 2nd Security Regiment. The independent 5th Cavalry Regiment of the nationalist reorganized 82nd Division was deployed to Zhening. The 1st Regiment of the reorganized 100th Brigade of the Nationalist reorganized 82nd Division was deployed to Ning County, and the 2nd Regiment of the reorganized 100th Brigade of the Nationalist reorganized 82nd Division was deployed to the town of Early Victory, and the 3rd Regiment of the reorganized 100th Brigade of the Nationalist reorganized 82nd Division was deployed to the town of Zhànyì. Qinghai 1st Security Cavalry Regiment was deployed to Jingchuan, while Qinghai 2nd Security Cavalry Regiment was tasked to defend Pingliang with the help of 2nd Company of the 2nd Regiment of the reorganized 8th Cavalry Brigade of the Nationalist reorganized 82nd Division. The 2nd Regiment of the reorganized 8th Cavalry Brigade and other units of the Nationalist reorganized 82nd Division, including the Field Hospital, the Engineering Battalion, the Communication Battalion, the Transportation Company, the Garrison Group and others were deployed to Western Peak and Shaojing regions. After the Nationalist reorganized 82nd Division had pushed toward eastern Gansu, the Nationalists had successfully driven the local communist guerrillas into the mountains of Meridian Ridge in 4 weeks by taking advantage of their cavalry and the adaptation of their own guerrilla tactic against communist guerrillas. Although the Nationalists were expecting the enemy would attack in great numbers eventually, they had not anticipated the assault by the enemy main force would come so soon, and thus initially believed it was just the enemy guerrillas grouped together for a counterattack, instead of the main force of the regular communist army. The defenders of Héshuǐ, nonetheless, was well armed to take care themselves. The Heavy Weaponry Battalion of the reorganized 8th Cavalry Brigade of the Nationalist reorganized 82nd Division at Heshui included an infantry support gun company, an anti-tank gun company, a heavy machine gun company and a communication platoon. And the battalion is one of the best units among Ma clique's forces that were experts in urban defense. The Heavy Weaponry Battalion of the reorganized 8th Cavalry Brigade of the Nationalist reorganized 82nd Division was further assisted by the Gansu 2nd Security Regiment, whose troops were all locals who were very familiar with local terrain. The Nationalist reorganized 82nd Division Ma Jiyuan had so much confidence in this urban defense garrison of 1,300 men that he deployed them in the exposed town of Heshui. And history would later prove that he was right and his men would not disappoint him. Order of Battle. Defenders. Nationalist Order of Battle reorganized 8th Cavalry Brigade of the Nationalist reorganized 82nd Division. Garrison Group of the Nationalist reorganized 82nd Division. Gansu 2nd Security Regiment. Attackers. Communist Order of Battle 359th Brigade of the Communist 2nd Column. Independent 4th Brigade of the Communist 2nd Column. Instructional Brigade of the Communist 2nd Column. 2nd Stage. The detachments of Communist 2nd Column under the command of Wang Zhen crossed Meridian Ridge and approached the town of Heshui. The 359th Brigade of the Communist 2nd Column was assigned to take the town, while the Instructional Brigade and the Independent 4th Brigade of the Communist 2nd Column were tasked to ambush the reinforcement. As the 1st Regiment of the Instructional Brigade reached the Wormwood Grass Shop area of Luo'er Plateau region 10 kilometers from Heshui, the Communist scouts ahead were ambushed by the local Nationalist cavalry on patrol. In a brief but fierce battle, a Communist scout was captured alive by the Nationalist cavalry. The Communists feared that their plan was to be compromised, and attempted to rescue the captured scout. But Luo'er Plateau was a place extremely difficult to take but very easy to defend due to its terrain, and the 1st Regiment of the Instructional Brigade of the Communist 2nd Column was forced to abort their futile attempts and move to the planned destination. The attackers therefore lost the element of surprise, At 4 a.m. on May 28, 1947, the 717th Regiment of the 359th Brigade made contact with nationalist garrison of Heshui to the northwest of the town, and all nationalists outside the town soon retreated behind the city wall. The commander of the heavy weaponry battalion of the reorganized 8th Cavalry Brigade of the Nationalist reorganized 82nd Division, Ma Shengji. By the evening of May 28, 1947, Ma Shengji radioed for help again, claiming that large enemy force was approaching the town of Héshuǐ. The enemy attackers were headed by Guo Peng, the commander of the 359th Brigade of the Communist Second Column. The 12th Regiment of the Independent 4th Brigade of the Communist Second Column was also sent to join the assault on the town. The 717th Regiment of the 359th Brigade of the Communist Second Column attacked the town from northwest, while the 718th Regiment of the 359th Brigade and the 12th Regiment of the Independent 4th Brigade of the Communist Second Column attacked the town from the east, and the 719th Regiment of the 359th Brigade of the Communist Second Column was kept as reserve. However, the attacking communists were prevented from approaching the city wall, and it was not until the morning when the attacking enemy discovered why. The city wall extended toward a plateau to the northwest of the town. Defenders atop of the city wall on this plateau had perfect firing positions that could effectively block any attackers' advance toward the town. The defenders had deployed not only mortar and anti-tank guns, but several heavy machine guns as well. After futile attacks that lasted for an entire day and night, the attackers finally realized that this extension must be taken, but with the current strength they had, they were simply unable to achieve this impossible task, and Guo Peng, the commander of the 359th Brigade of the Communist Second Column, who was in the southwestern suburb of the town directing the battle, and he had no choice but to deploy the reserve, the 719th Regiment of the 359th Brigade of the Communist Second Column ahead of schedule to attack the extension. By the noon of May 29, 1947, the 718th Regiment of the 359th Brigade and the 12th Regiment of the Independent 4th Brigade of the Communist Second Column were able to take nationalist strongholds in the east and south just outside the city wall, and the eastern part of the town fell into the 718th Regiment of the 359th Brigade of the Communist Second Column by the afternoon. After preparation, the 719th Regiment of the 359th Brigade of the Communist Second Column launched its assault on the northwestern extension of the nationalist defense, but the defenders would not let them succeed. While the enemy was busy attacking, the defenders sent out a large force via underground tunnels to counterattack the attacking enemy from behind, and inflicted heavy casualties on the communist attackers, which was forced to halt their attack. The stubborn and successful nationalist defense of the town of Héshuǐ was completed unexpected by the enemy, who was hoping for an easy victory, and Wang Zhen, the commander of the Communist Second Column, had to go to the front line to direct the combat himself. By the evening, the battle mainly continued at the southern sections of the city wall, and enemy artillery heavily shelled the nationalist positions in the night. By midnight, the attacking enemy had blown away all of the obstacles outside, but failed to blow up the gate in a section of city wall as they had hoped, and the charging enemy force discovered that there were no gaps they could utilize after reaching the city wall. Taking the advantage, the defenders mobilized everyone, including cooks and medics, to launch an all-out counterattack, again inflicting heavy casualties on the trapped enemy at the foot of the city wall, especially the 718th Regiment of the 359th Brigade and the 12th Regiment of the Independent 4th Brigade of the Communist Second Column. After more than 2 hours of fierce fighting, the defenders had successfully beaten back the enemy once again. The defenders suffered heavily in the counterattack, with the commander of the nationalist Gansu 2nd Security Regiment, Li Hongshan, badly wounded in the battle. The attackers would later learn after the campaign that the same extension of the urban defense that prevented them from taking the town had also prevented Li Zicheng from doing so 300 years before for 3 times, and it was only after the extension was neutralized that Li Zicheng and his peasantry army were able to finally succeed in taking the town of Heshui. Third stage. On May 29, 1947, the news of the enemy besieging the town of Heshui had finally struck the commander of the nationalist reorganized 82nd Division guarding the town of Western Peak, Ma Ji-yuan, who realized this was not a concentration of enemy guerrillas attempting to harassing the local garrison. So he ordered the nationalist reorganized 8th Cavalry Brigade at Kenyang to reinforce the besieged town, under the leadership of its brigade commander Ma Bulawan, with the 1st Regiment of the Nationalist Reorganized 8th Cavalry Brigade as the advance guard. The 1st Regiment of the Nationalist Reorganized 8th Cavalry Brigade was originally the Nationalist 1st Cavalry Division, which was later renamed as the 8th Cavalry Division during the Second Sino-Japanese War, and it was stationed in eastern Henan, fighting countless battles with the Japanese invaders who grew to respect the Nationalist Cavalry Unit, calling it Ma's Islamic Division. After World War II, the unit returned to Qinghai from Zhuzhou and was subsequently reorganized as the 1st Regiment of the reorganized 8th Cavalry Brigade of the Nationalist Reorganized 82nd Division. When the Nationalist Reorganized 82nd Division was deployed to eastern Gansu during the Chinese Civil War, the 1st Regiment of the reorganized 8th Cavalry Brigade of the Nationalist Reorganized 82nd Division was deployed to the town of Red City, 15 kilometers southeast of Kenyang. However, units of the Independent Brigade of the Communist Second Column had already infiltrated into regions south of Kenyang, and unaware of the enemy strength, the Nationalists did not want to risk being ambushed on the way, so they decided to concentrate their forces by going to Kenyang after leaving Red City. As a result, when the nationalist reinforcement finally began their march toward Héshuǐ, it was already late in the evening. In order to save time, the nationalists took a route in a valley 15 kilometers to the east of Kenyang without sending out scouts ahead. Around the same time, the nationalist reorganized 8th Cavalry Brigade left Kenyang to reinforce Héshuǐ on May 29, 1947. The 1st Regiment of the Instructional Brigade of the Communist Second Column reached Cypress Plateau, the choke point of the traffic to Héshuǐ. The exhausted communists did not even bother to build any temporary fortifications. Luo Shaowei, the commander of the 1st Regiment of the Instructional Brigade of the Communist Second Column, deployed the 3rd Battalion of the regiment to the south of the road, while the 2nd Battalion was deployed atop Northern Plateau in the north, while the 1st Battalion acted as reserve. With the exception of a single platoon on guard, the rest of the exhausted communists camped in the open and went to sleep. At 5 a.m. on May 30, 1947, the nationalist reinforcement approached the communist camp, and made contact with the communist platoon on guard. Once hearing the gunshots, the communists immediately jumped to their feet, and 3rd Battalion of the 1st Regiment of the Instructional Brigade of the Communist Second Column was the first one to act. Zhang Piran and Qiu Dashawn, the commander and the political commissar of the 3rd Battalion of the 1st Regiment of the Instructional Brigade of the Communist Second Column, immediately organized their troops and directed machine gun and mortar crew to fire at the nationalists. Zhu Zhongxin, the political commissar of the 2nd Battalion of the 1st Regiment of the Instructional Brigade of the Communist Second Column, was just getting up to urinate when the battle broke out, and he immediately woke up his troops and, with the help of Zhang Shengou, the battalion commander, led their battalion to reinforce their comrades. The sudden contact with the enemy was equally unexpected by and surprising the nationalists when they were moving fast in the valley. Ma Bulawan, the commander of the nationalist reorganized 8th Cavalry Brigade, immediately ordered his troops to take the high ground on both sides to avoid being pinned down by the enemy. The advance guard of the nationalist reinforcement led by the company commander Ma Guochen climbed to the top of Southern Plateau, while the rest of the nationalists climbed to the top of Northern Plateau. At the dawn, the nationalist main force atop Northern Plateau had beaten back the attack by the 3rd Regiment of the Instructional Brigade of the Communist 2nd Column, and the nationalist advance guards atop Southern Plateau originally appeared to be also successful in beating back the attack of the garrison platoon of the 1st Regiment of the Instructional Brigade of the Communist 2nd Column. However, the 2nd Battalion of the 1st Regiment of the Instructional Brigade of the Communist 2nd Column reached in time and helped their comrades to counterattack, surrounding the nationalist advance guards in 3 sides. The nationalist main force atop Northern Plateau could not provide fire support to their comrades in arms because the 2 sides were engaged in close quarter combats, and Lieutenant Colonel Su Oshij and leader team of 36 men charged the enemy, successfully disrupted the enemy's counterattack and thus allowed the besieged nationalist advance guards to escape. However, by this time, 1/3 of the 400-plus strong nationalist advance guards had already been lost, and the company commander Ma Guochen, who led the nationalist advance guards, lost both his legs due to enemy fire. The nationalists was forced to a temporary retreat and headed back to Kenyang.